Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Draupadi Murmu takes oath as India's 15th president, reiterates her resolve to work towards upliftment of marginalized, empowerment of women and the young and for inclusive growth of the country. President greets the nation on the eve of Kargil Vijay Divas, lauds efforts of the country during the COVID pandemic. Outgoing President Ramnath Kovind given ceremonial farewell with an inter-services guard of honor at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi terms Draupadi Murmu assuming the presidency as a watershed moment for India. Prime Minister to address program marking 10th death anniversary of Harmohan Singh Yadav today. Sri Amarnath Yatra temporarily suspended due to bad weather conditions. And in cricket, India beat West Indies by 2 wickets in second ODI to take an unassailable lead in 3-match series. Ms. Draupadi Murmu was sworn in as the 15th President of India today. She was administered oath by Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana at the Central Hall of Parliament.
मैं द्रौपदी मुर्मू
ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूँ कि मैं श्रद्धापूर्वक भारत के राष्ट्रपति के पद का कार्यपालन करूंगी सदा अपनी पूरी योग्यता से संविधान और विधि का परिरक्षण संरक्षण और प्रतिरक्षण करूंगी और मैं भारत की जनता की सेवा और कल्याण में निरत रहूंगी
Speaking on the occasion, President Draupadi Murmu said, "This is the beauty of Indian democracy that a poor lady from a far-flung area has become the president."
मैं जिस पृष्ठभूमि से आती हूँ वहाँ मेरे लिए प्रारंभिक शिक्षा प्राप्त करना भी एक सपने जैसा ही था। मैं जनजातीय समाज से हूँ और वार्ड काउंसिलर से लेकर भारत की राष्ट्रपति बनने तक का अवसर मुझे मिला है। ये लोकतंत्र की जननी भारतवर्ष की महानता है। हमारे लोकतंत्र की ही शक्ति है। उसमें एक गरीब घर के पैदा होने बेटी, दूर सुदूर आदिवासी क्षेत्र में पैदा हुई बेटी भारत के सर्वोच्च संवैधानिक पद तक पहुँच सकती है। राष्ट्रपति के पद पहुंचना मेरी व्यक्तिगत उपलब्धि नहीं है, ये भारत की प्रत्येक गरीब की उपलब्धि है। वचन इस बात का सबूत है कि भारत में गरीब सपने भी देख सकता है और उन्हें पूरा भी कर सकता है।
Ms. Murmu reiterated her resolve to work towards upliftment of the marginalized, empowerment of women and the young for the inclusive growth of the country, saying that in the past few years a new energy has been infused in the country due to the decisions taken and policies formulated for women's empowerment. Ms. Murmu added that she wants all sisters and daughters to be empowered more and more so that they continue to increase their contribution in every field of nation building. Ms. Murmu highlighted the spirit of New India and the emergence of the country as a global leader. The President said, in 75 years as a parliamentary democracy, India has carried forward the resolve of progress through participation and consensus. She said, while being full of diversities, the country is engaged in the making of Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat by adopting many languages, religions, sects, food habits, lifestyles and customs. She added, the Amrit Kal, which commences with the 75th year of independence, is a period of new resolutions for India. She said in these 25 years, the path to attain the goals of Amrit Kal will proceed on 2 tracks, Sabka Prayas or Sabka Kartavya. Ms. Murmu said the new development journey towards the bright future of India has to be undertaken by the collective efforts following the path of duty. She said the country has elected her when the country is celebrating 75th year of independence.
राष्ट्रपति के रूप में देश ने एक ऐसे महत्वपूर्ण कालखंड में चुना है जो हम अपनी आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहे हैं। आज से कुछ दिन बाद ही देश अपनी स्वाधीनता के 75 वर्ष पूरी करेगा। ये भी एक संयोग है कि जो देश अपनी आजादी के 50वें वर्ष का पर्व मना रहा था, तभी मेरे राजनीतिक जीवन की शुरुआत हुई थी और आज आजादी के 75वें वर्ष में मुझे ये नया दायित्व मिला है।
The President greeted the nation on the eve of Kargil Vijay Divas.
26 जुलाई को कारगिल विजय दिवस भी है। ये दिन भारत की सेनाओं के शौर्य और संयम दोनों का ही प्रतीक है। मैं आज देश की सेनाओं को तथा देश के समस्त नागरिकों को कारगिल विजय दिवस की अग्रिम शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ।
Appreciating the efforts of the country during the COVID pandemic, she said administering 200 crore vaccine doses to the people of the country is a big achievement.
कोरोना महामारी के वैश्विक संकट का सामना करने में भारत ने जिस तरह का सामर्थ्य दिखाया है, उसने पूरे विश्व में भारत की साख बढ़ाया है। हम हिंदुस्तानियों ने अपने प्रयासों से न सिर्फ इस वैश्विक चुनौती का सामना किया, बल्कि दुनिया के सामने नए मापदंड भी स्थापित किए। कुछ दिन पहले कोरोना वैक्सीन की 200 करोड़ डोज लगाने का कीर्तिमान पूरी लड़ाई में भारत के लोगों ने जिस संयम, साहस और सहयोग का परिचय दिया, वो एक समाज के रूप में हमारी बढ़ती हुई शक्ति और संवेदनशीलता का प्रतीक है। भारत ने इन मुश्किल हालात में न केवल खुद को संभाला, बल्कि दुनिया की मदद भी की। कोरोना महामारी से बने माहौल में आज दुनिया भारत को नए विश्वास से देख रही है।
Earlier in the morning, Ms. Murmu paid tribute at Rajghat in the national capital ahead of her swearing in. After that, outgoing President Ramnath Kovind and his wife Savita extended greetings to Ms. Murmu at Rashtrapati Bhavan. They then reached the central hall in a ceremonial procession. After conclusion of the ceremony, the President left for Rashtrapati Bhavan, where an inter-services guard of honour was given to her in the forecourt and curtsies were extended to the outgoing President Ramnath Kovind. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Union Ministers, Governors, Chief Ministers, Heads of Diplomatic Missions, Members of Parliament and principal civil and military officers of the Government of India were present at the swearing-in ceremony. More from our correspondent.
President Draupadi Murmu is the first tribal person and the second woman to hold the position. The 64-year-old is the youngest president of the country. She is also the first president of India who is born after independence. Ms. Murmu joined politics in 1997 and was elected councillor in Rairangpur Notified Area Council of Odisha. She served twice as an MLA from Rairangpur Assembly constituency from 2000 to 2009 and once as a Minister for Commerce, Transport, Fisheries and Animal Resources Development in Odisha government. On 18th May 2015, Ms. Murmu took oath as Governor of Jharkhand and stayed in the post till 12th July last year. She was the first woman governor of the state and the first female tribal leader to serve as a governor in any Indian state. Suparna Saikya, AIR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has described Draupadi Murmu assuming the presidency as a watershed moment for India, especially for the poor, marginalized and downtrodden. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said the entire nation watched with pride as Ms. Draupadi Murmu took oath as the President of India. He said in an address after taking oath, President Murmu gave a message of hope and compassion. The Prime Minister said Ms. Murmu emphasized on India's accomplishments and presented a futuristic vision of the path ahead at a time when India is marking Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Mr. Modi wished her a fruitful presidential tenure. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has congratulated Ms. Draupadi Murmu on being sworn in as the 15th President of India. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said election to the highest office is a testimony to the vibrancy and strength of Indian democracy. He wished her a successful and fulfilling tenure as the first citizen of India.
Outgoing President Ramnath Kovind delivered his farewell address to the nation last evening. Mr. Kovind said in modern times the glorious journey of the country commenced with the awakening of nationalist feelings during colonial rule and the launch of the freedom struggle. He observed that the names of many of the heroes of the freedom struggle had been forgotten and contributions of some of them have been appreciated only in recent times. Mr. Kovind said the chief goal is to help citizens discover the joy of living, for which their basic necessities must be taken care of. He said the government should provide better housing and access to drinking water and electricity for every family. He emphasized that the national education policy will go a long way in making young Indians connect with their heritage and also find their feet in the 21st century. Speaking about healthcare, Mr. Kovind said the COVID pandemic has underlined the need to further improve the public healthcare infrastructure.
Here, education is the key. I believe the national education policy will go a long way in making it possible for young Indians to connect with their heritage and also find their feet in the 21st century. To let them flourish tomorrow, healthcare is essential. The pandemic has underlined the need to further improve the public healthcare infrastructure. I am glad that the government has accorded top priority to this task. Once education and healthcare are in place, economic reforms will let citizens find the best course for their lives. I firmly believe that our country is getting equipped to make the 21st century the century of India.
The outgoing president said that he discharged his duties to the best of his abilities during the 5 years of his term. He recounted that whenever he was in doubt, he turned to Gandhiji's talisman and recalled the face of the poorest man and asked if his decision would be of any use to him. Concluding his address, he asked everyone to take care of the environment, land, air and water for the sake of future generations.
More than 202 crore 17 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far. The Health Ministry said more than 16 lakh 82,000 vaccine doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, 16,866 new COVID cases were reported in the country. India's active caseload currently stands at over 1,50,000 and it is at 0.34%. The recovery rate is currently at 98.46%. In Himachal Pradesh, 5 people lost their lives and 2 others seriously injured when a jeep fell into a deep gorge at Satrundi in Tisa Tehsil of Chamba district last night. A total of 7 people were travelling in the vehicle at the time of the accident. The injured have been admitted to the Chamba Medical College for treatment.
In Uttar Pradesh, 8 people died and 13 others were seriously injured in a road accident at Purvanchal Expressway near Loni Katra area in Barabanki district. The accident took place in the wee hours today when a double-decker bus rammed into another stationed bus at the expressway. Superintendent of Police Anurag Vats said that 8 people died on the spot and the injured were later shifted to hospitals in Lucknow. Around 24 injured persons are being treated at Barabanki. He said total 64 people were in the bus at the time of the accident. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has expressed grief over the incident and instructed officials to help the injured in every possible manner. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief at the loss of lives in a road accident on the Purvanchal Expressway. He said local administration is providing all possible help. Mr. Modi prayed for the quick recovery of the injured.
You will listen to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Draupadi Murmu takes oath as India's 15th President, reiterates her resolve to work towards upliftment of marginalized, empowerment of women and the young, and for inclusive growth of the country. President greets the nation on the eve of Kargil Vijay Divas, lauds efforts of the country during the COVID pandemic. Outgoing President Ramnath Kovind given ceremonial farewell with an Inter-Services Guard of Honor at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi terms Draupadi Murmu assuming the presidency as a watershed moment for India. Prime Minister to address program marking 10th death anniversary of Harmohan Singh Yadav today. Sri Amarnath Ji Yatra temporarily suspended due to bad weather conditions. And in cricket, India beat West Indies by 2 wickets in the second ODI to take an unassailable lead in the 3-match series. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
Listen to Commonwealth Games quiz with AIR News Sportscan at 7:20 p.m. every day. All you have to do is reply to a question on the Commonwealth Games. Email your answers at airsportscan@gmail.com. The first correct answer will be selected as the winner and rewarded with a jersey of the Indian Commonwealth Games team. So keep cheering to India, listening to Sportscan at 7:20 p.m. on FM Gold 100.1 MHz and on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official.
कॉम्पिटिशन्स की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर अभ्यास कार्यक्रम है आपके लिए। अपने सवाल भेजें व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करें abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर। आपके सवालों के जवाब हमारे एक्सपर्ट देंगे हर शनिवार रात 9:30 बजे। इस बार का विषय है इकोनॉमिक्स यानी अर्थशास्त्र। आपके सवालों का हम करेंगे इंतजार 27 जुलाई तक। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the Midday News. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a program marking the 10th death anniversary of Harmohan Singh Yadav via video conferencing today. Harmohan Singh Yadav was a towering figure and leader of the Yadav community. The Prime Minister's participation in the program is in recognition of the contribution of the late leader for farmers, backward classes and other sections of society. Harmohan Singh Yadav was awarded Shaurya Chakra in 1991 for valour in protecting the lives of several Sikhs during the 1984 anti-Sikh riots. The Andaman and Nicobar Command has handed over the historic Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Island to the Andaman and Nicobar administration for larger development of tourism and infrastructure in the island. The official ceremony was held today at Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Island, where Commander-in-Chief of ANN Command, Lieutenant General Ajay Singh, symbolically handed over the administrative control of the island to Deputy Commissioner South Andaman Sunil Anchipaka. He also remembered the historical importance and series of events related to the island. He said the security and defence purpose a naval post was set up there, but due to constraints, the development of the island as a tourist destination was not feasible. Therefore, it is being handed over to the administration. The Lieutenant General further added that Niti Aayog, an island development agency, has taken several initiatives to develop these islands under the Act East policy. In the last few years, the A&N Islands is strategically very significant for the country. Therefore, boosting connectivity is very crucial. Expansion is being done to strengthen air connectivity with the mainland.
Sri Amarnath Ji Yatra from Baltal Base Camp and from the traditional Pahalgam route has been temporarily suspended due to bad weather conditions. It has been continuously raining at various places on Baltal and Pahalgam routes and around the Holy Cave. The Yatra will be allowed to move further only after improvement in the weather conditions along the Yatra routes. Meanwhile, more than 2,63,000 Yatris have paid obeisance to the Shivlingam at the Holy Cave Shrine till last evening. Prasar Bharati has invited applications for the post of senior legal correspondent in All India Radio News on full-time contract basis. The position is based in New Delhi. Details about the posts are available in vacancy section on Prasar Bharati website www.prasarbharati.gov.in. And now let's listen to a special program Azadi Ka Safar highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
आजादी का सफर with AIR News. Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember nationalist scholar Acharya Parshuram Chaturvedi, who was born on July the 25th, 1894 in Javahi village, Balia district of Uttar Pradesh. He is considered to be the most authoritative and accepted scholar of the same tradition and helped in revitalizing the Indian civilizational ethos in the times when the country was fighting against the British imperialist regime.
Educated at Allahabad and Varanasi University, Parshuram was a lawyer by profession, but had a keen interest in spiritual literature. He was a scholar of many dialects of Sanskrit and Hindi. He was a supporter of free thinking and evolutionary theory in literature. His life was devoted to the welfare of humanity.
In his books, Bharatiya Sahitya Ki Sanskritik Rekhaएं and Sant Sahitya ki parak. Parshuram gave place to the saints of Sanatan sect as well as the Sufis, worshippers of Sagun and Nirgun Bhakti streams, Nath Panthis and saints belonging to the sect of Jangam Jogdas. In his book, Uttar Bharat Ki Sant Parampara, Acharya Chaturvedi considered Mahatma Gandhi to be the last saint.
Acharya Parashuram Chaturvedi died on the 3rd of January 1979. AIR News salutes the great Indian. We also remember martyr Shridev Suman. He was born on the 15th of May 1915 in Tihri, Garhwal, Uttarakhand. Shridev Suman took an active part in the Salt Satyagraha of 1930. He became a member of the Standing Committee of Lok Parishad in 1936.
A prolific writer, he wrote on the socio-political issues of Tihri Garhwal state. Shridev Suman also participated in the Quit India movement in Garhwal division in 1942, for which he was arrested twice and put behind the bars. He was arrested again and imprisoned in the Tihri State Jail on the 13th of December 1943, where he died in the jail on the 25th of July 1944. AIR News salutes the brave martyr.
We also remember nationalist M. Alagappa Manikavellu Naikar, who died on the 25th of July 1996. M.A. Manikavellu was born on the 14th of December 1896. A member of the Swarajya Party faction of the Indian National Congress, Naikar was elected to the Madras Legislative Council and served as a member of the
After independence, Manikavellu founded the Commonweal Party and served as the Minister of Revenue for the Madras state. He also served as a member of the Rajya Sabha from 1962 to 1964. During the 1964-1970, he was the chairman of the Tamil Nadu Legislative Council. Till his death in 1996, M.A. Manikavellu continued to serve the nation. AIR News salutes the great Indian.
We also remember martyr Hriday Shah, Chulkan Lodi, Lal Dulare Lal, who belonged to Madhya Pradesh. They took active part in the First War of Independence in 1857. They were caught by the British troops during an encounter and charged with desertion and mutiny. Hriday Shah, Chulkan Lodi, Lal Dulare Lal was sentenced to death and executed by hanging on the 25th of July, 1857. We salute the brave martyrs.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
अब हर घर की छत पर शान से फहरेगा तिरंगा, गुनगुनाए जाएंगे नव विकास के गीत, आन बान शान का प्रतीक राष्ट्रध्वज तिरंगा। आइए आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर इस स्वाधीनता दिवस हर घर फहराते हैं तिरंगा और लेते हैं भव्य और सशक्त भारत के निर्माण का संकल्प।
आइए हर घर फहराएं तिरंगा।
News just in. Rajya Sabha has been adjourned till 3 p.m. following uproar by opposition over price rise and other issues. Russia has charged 92 members of the Ukrainian armed forces with crimes against humanity. The head of Russia's investigative committee, Alexander Vasyukin, said that more than 1,300 criminal investigations had been launched. He also proposed an international tribunal backed by countries including Bolivia, Iran and Syria. Some 96 people, including 51 armed forces commanders, are wanted, he said. Local media reports that Russian investigators have identified over 220 people, including from the Ukrainian military high command, involved in the shelling of Donbass. In USA, a fast-moving wildfire in California continues to grow in size. The firefighters said they struggled through sweltering temperatures. A state of emergency was declared in Mariposa County on Saturday and will allow the state to access some federal assistance to tackle the fires.
In Ladakh, people of Kargil along with the Indian Army is celebrating the 23rd Kargil Vijay Divas. 24 members of artists of Kargil led by the mentor Sajad Sir interacted with GOC of the 14th Corps Lieutenant General Anindya Sengupta and GOC 8th Mountain Division Major General Nagendra Singh. Lieutenant General Sengupta appreciated the artworks of the students made on the auspicious occasion of Kargil Vijay Divas to pay tribute to the martyrs. Mountaineer Wasifa Nazreen became the first Bangladeshi to scale the second highest mountain peak K2 in Pakistan. She climbed the 8,611 meters or 20,251 feet high K2 mountain peak and returned to the base camp on Friday. A summit is technically complete when the climber returns back to the base camp from the peak. On completing the historic task, the 39-year-old mountaineer Wasifa paid tribute to all the known and unknown martyrs of Bangladesh, from the language movement to the liberation war.
A 215-member Indian athlete contingent across 16 disciplines is all set to participate in the Commonwealth Games beginning on July the 28th in Birmingham. Sports Authority of India has started a new initiative to cheer for Team India with the campaign Create for India. Participants can submit their creative entries by the 26th using the hashtags Create for India and Cheer for India. The first Khelo India Fencing Women's League will start from today at the Talkatora Indoor Stadium, New Delhi. Youth Affairs and Sports Ministry said the first of its kind national fencing competition for women will take place until the 29th of this month. It will be held in over 3 phases. Over 300 women across 20 states have registered to participate in the event.
In cricket, India defeated West Indies by 2 wickets in the second ODI at Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain last night to take 2-0 lead in the 3-match series. India achieved the victory target of 312 runs in 49.4 overs for the loss of 8 wickets. The third and final ODI will be played on Wednesday at Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain. The match will start at 7 p.m. Indian time. At the stock markets, the Sensex of the Bombay Stock Exchange declined 412 points or 0.7% to trade at 55,660 in the afternoon session a short while ago. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange dropped 126 points or 0.8% to 16,594.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. National capital Delhi is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees. Mumbai is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Chennai likely to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Kolkata likely to have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Draupadi Murmu takes oath as India's 15th president, reiterates her resolve to work towards upliftment of marginalized, empowerment of women and the young, and for inclusive growth of the country. President greets the nation on the eve of Kargil Vijay Divas, lauds efforts of the country during the COVID pandemic. Outgoing President Ramnath Kovind given ceremonial farewell with an inter-services guard of honor at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Prime Minister Narendra Modi terms Draupadi Murmu assuming the presidency as a watershed moment for India. Prime Minister to address program marking 10th death anniversary of Harmohan Singh Yadav today. Sri Amarnath Yatra temporarily suspended due to bad weather conditions. And in cricket, India beat West Indies by 2 wickets in second ODI to take an unassailable lead in the 3-match series. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and on News on AIR app. With that, we end the Midday News.